This is Callum Smiles for Vox Populi, and with the budget coming later in the month and after discovering the UK is putting £52 million of your money into a road in Guyana, whilst our roads have more holes in them than a Labour Party election pledge, I thought I would look into and expose the truth about how some of our money's being spent, or rather, how it's not being spent on us. So today we are diving into a scandal that's got me fuming. Since Labour took power in July 2024, they've funneled billions in foreign aid to countries abroad. While our own streets flood, our hospitals buckle, and our pensioners shiver. Now, this isn't to say that the previous government was good, because they were also bad for doing this, but Labour are much worse. Keir Starmer promised change.
Our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service.
But he didn't quite mention it would be this. This is change we cannot afford. In fact, many of us are now having to survive on loose change. If you're as sick as I am with watching your taxes vanish into the ether, smash the like button, make sure you subscribe for more no bullshit breakdowns. And now let's get into it. So we're going to break down exactly how much cash Labour shipped out since they grabbed the keys to number 10, country by country. Spoiler, it's eye-watering. The question every single voter and taxpayer should be asking is, why are we bankrolling foreign governments when Britain itself is on its knees? First, some context. Labour inherited a slashed aid budget from the Tories, down from the UN's gold standard of 0.07% of national income to 0.05% post-COVID. Still, it's 0.5% more than I would like, but it is better than what we have now. But they've pledged to restore it as soon as fiscal circumstances allow. But guess what? Instead of fighting for more, they've greenlit 13.3 billion, that's billion not million, for 2024 and 2025 alone, rising to 13.7 billion next year. So that's your money, hard earned from overtime shifts whilst missing out on doing things you love most and watching the likes of your young family grow up because you have to work to pay for foreign countries and to cover your skyrocketing energy bills. And all of this is going abroad. And get this, 20% of it, over 2.8% billion, isn't even leaving Britain. It's propping up the Home Office hotels for asylum seekers. Labour slammed the Tories for this cynical cruelty in opposition. Now, they're doubling down with no extra funding to shield real overseas aid. Again, it's overseas aid I would scrap. Migrants come in, money goes out. But the real kicker, Labour is already plotting deeper cuts to 0.3% of gross national income by 2027 to pump up defence spending. Why do we need to pump up defence spending? Well, because we're playing a role in messing up the world. Many call it a betrayal. MPs warn it'll spark unrest, migration waves, and security threats that will boomerang back to us. Even Labour's own backbenchers are now in revolt, with one minister resigning in protest. So where's this billion-strong bonanza going? Well, let's break it down country by country using the latest provisional figures for 2024 since Labour's been back in charge for the back half of the year. I'll focus on the top bilateral recipients, direct aid, not the multilateral black hole that swallows another 20%, 1/5. So starting with the big one, Ukraine. Labour's poured in £250 million in bilateral aid this year. Part of, oh god, this is a big number, £592 million in a humanitarian blitz over 2022 and 2023 that's carried over. Ethiopia has received 164 million, ironically for famine relief, whilst we have Brits deciding whether to heat or eat. Afghanistan got £115 million in Taliban fallout aid, despite the fact we then just imported thousands over here. Oh yeah, we're paying for them as well. The Congo has received an estimated 100 million, Syria an estimated 90 million, Yemen estimated 80 million, Nigeria 70 million, Pakistan 60 million. Basically, they're all these countries getting millions whilst we're getting nothing. Now, I believe the UK also paid for contraception in Pakistan. Ironically, though, it's not Pakistanis breeding there that's the problem, it's Pakistanis breeding here that is more of a problem for Great Britain. Sudan got a whopping great big £226 million. And that's just some of the individual countries. Not to mention the £310 million to the World Health Organization and the nearly £2 billion to the International Development Association. Meanwhile, here in the UK, we do the opposite of developing as our quality of life goes down. Over £1 billion in direct bilateral aid to just these hotspots in 2024, mostly locked in under Labour's watch. Africa is the big winner regionally at £1.5 billion. Asia comes a close second. But here's the rub. These aren't gifts to grateful allies. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, 9.5 million went to a single contractor for accountability, whatever that means, whilst we also fund gender disinformation conferences in Kenya for £110,000. That's a nice cheap one, actually, in the grand scheme of things. It's nice work if you can get it, but it certainly isn't ordinary Brits. Whilst, once again, I really want to hammer this point home, you pay for it. Critics, and there are loads, are howling. Save the Children call it a betrayal of vulnerable kids. The International Development Committee, they warn it'll fuel migration and terror threats that we pay for later, whilst we physically pay for it now. Again, you can't make this stuff up. Or rather you can, it's called a Labour manifesto page. Labour's own Independent Commission for Aid Impact Watchdog, they say that we're losing grip, with aid politicised to bail out domestic failures. Starmer says it's for national security, but just before filming this, foreign nationals, I know they're British born, but they aren't, they don't hold British values, that's for sure. Foreigners knifed multiple people on a train in the East Midlands, and British girls are still being gang raped by other foreign nationals. I suppose at the end of the day it's nothing a bit of digital ID won't solve. But when 40% of aid stays at home on hotels and admin, and the rest jets off with zero accountability, it's not compassion, it's chaos. Labour's manifesto was all heart, now it's all cuts. This is how socialists get in. They work with your normal everyday person's decent human nature, and they manipulate that when actually they've got nefarious intentions, and we're seeing it now. The situation we are in now, we need to scrap foreign aid entirely, as it clearly doesn't work. Scrap the hotel scam and prioritise Britain first. So what do you think? Do you think foreign aid works? I mean, you clearly know that I don't, but I'm interested to hear your opinion if you think it's a good thing. Is it global generosity or is it national neglect? Drop your thoughts below. But don't just get angry, get involved if this sort of thing bothers you. Don't complain about the state of the nation if you aren't willing to do something about it. And remember, if a country can afford to pay for another country, it's taxing its own people too much. See you next time.